Hey guys, it's Matt here talking about Chapter 2 of Teaching Music Through Performance in Orchestra, Volume 3 World Music in Orchestral and String Education, Understanding Reggae Sprinkled Twinkle. Consider the authenticity of our music, the music of our time. Now, imagine someone 30 years older than us teaching us a piece of music written by someone 40 years older than us that's supposed to be music about us. Who do you think would know more? Teaching music through performance proposes that idea for our own thought. Through any cultural gap, be it geographical, linguistic, or generational, music and culture itself tends to lose its authenticity. So, how can we teach our students the music of the world when we're limited to our Ohioan dialects and westernized way of approaching music? It is important to show what is different between our music and that of other cultures, but also to emphasize what is similar. Take Arirang, Korean folk song by Michael Story. You rehearse this piece with an orchestra and bam! They know and understand Korean music, right? Wrong. What did they learn about Korean folk music other than the fact that the melody is called Arirang, which if you played variations on a Korean folk song for band, you didn't even learn that. And that Korean music can be pentatonic-ish. Well, to teach this piece culturally, you need to understand a bit more about the piece. And with a bit of research, in the front page of the score, there will be a passage by Michael Story explaining that Arirang tells a story of a heartbroken maiden who wishes that her departing sweetheart will have sore feet before he has gone 10 li, which is about 2.5 miles, and will have to come back to her. Already, that opens the door and connects similarities between Korean and our culture. No one wants to be broken up with. Now we learn how to pronounce Arirang. Just Google it. This teaches students that words have very different pronunciations among countries, and this is just the beginning of how different the Korean language is to ours. Aside from all that, it's important to emphasize how important this song is in Korea. This isn't just important, it's everywhere. In performances of this song, the entire audience will sing along because everybody knows it. Did you know that the song is even quoted in K-pop star Psy's Korea? Yep, I did. It's not just Gangnam Style that has any significance to the rest of the world. There's just so much that can be taught, and with teaching these materials, it's important to effectively teach that to students. That small amount of extra material will prove itself so much more valuable to the students. It provides so much more significance and connection to Korea culturally, which will in the future have a greater benefit to 90% of the students than being able to play the notes on the page. Now, although no music is truly authentic, there's music that tends to be not authentic enough. Bergonzi provided Elizabeth Volk's 4 categories to provide perspective of determining authenticity. The most authentic is of culture, or approximation thereof. These pieces are written by composers of that culture, like Danzon No. 2 by Marquez. Then we have cultural borrowing beyond thematic material. These are pieces and arrangements of folk content, like the American Folk Rhapsody. Euro-American artistic processes, those contain cultural ideas put into a westernized perspective, such as variations on a Korean folk song. And then we have in the title only. These are stereotypes, like the Mexican Sunday polka. Now, Bergonzi opened up the chapter with a story of a time he got a Mexican sundae at a frozen custard stand. The only thing that made it different from American sundae is that it had Mexican nuts topped on it. These title categories only serve as marketing strategies and exemplify stereotypes and should be avoided. When teaching for authenticity, it must be considered on 3 different levels. 1. Music. The formal properties of sound. 2. Meaning. Its surrounding context. And 3. Behaviors. The means by which the music is taught, learned, and performed. That's a quote from Carlos R. Abreu. That was in the chapter. Which brings me to another topic, authenticity of pedagogy. How is most traditional music taught around the world? Orally. Now, how do we teach this music in the rehearsal room? Not orally. It's okay to take a bit of time outside of the sheet music to teach this music. Bergonzi showed a lesson plan by Volk showing how improvisation can be used in Chinese folk song for strings. This gets the kids a bit more in the zone of how this music was originally performed, as well as tackling creativity and improvisation for the national standards. Now, not only are they learning rep in historical and cultural context, they're also creating themselves, which maximizes the educational experience for everyone. To sum up, understand that you're not always the expert. If you want to teach pop music of your students' culture, expect them to be a bit critical and be prepared to take a few teaching detours, such as assigning them to identify the differences between their song and the arrangement. If you're teaching music for authenticity, go in depth. Don't just teach the notes on the page. Evaluate the authenticity of the piece. You don't have to go into the jungle to perform Anasazi, but playing the Taco Bell jingle is not Mexican music. Now, teach authentically. This is an opportunity for students to learn in a different learning environment, which is significant for students today. Well, that's all for today, and thanks for listening.